You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Yep, it's the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee, Envy is in New Orleans showing off his new shoes.
Yeah, I saw those glittery shoes. But I'm super excited today because I just met Wood Harris the other day at the event that we had for the breaks. And he said he was going to come on The Breakfast Club, and he really, really did.
Wood
So
Harris is here, ladies and gentlemen.
What up, Breakfast Club?
Now, you played some legendary roles, Avon Barksdale, Ace in Paid in Full. What character is most like you? Because when you walked in the room, I felt the energy of Ace. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you.
That's probably kind of it. But I don't know, man. That's a good question. I get to ask that. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm trying to separate myself from the characters when you're doing the role. You know what I'm saying? You're really committing to being involved with yourself just imaginatively. You're not really trying to give up any of you, in a sense. You're really just trying to use your imagination as best you can. Because acting is really just living, truthfully in the imaginary circumstance. So how well you work with your imagination is going to lend to the character that you are. And I played a lot of real people, so Ace, Avon, those are real people. Hendrix is real. Julius, Remember the Titans. And so my learning throughout the process has been from that, a lot of real people, which means you go into the different research process, and then you're trying to really find how to separate yourself from Wood Harris, from me. So that's really the hard part. You commit to it, and you really don't break commitment of it, and you stay imaginatively artistic with it. That's kind of how I am about it. And once it's done, I'm just kind of done with it.
Is it that easy?
I didn't say it was easy, but now it's easy. It would be easier if well, people love the characters, but if they, I guess it can't work both ways. If people didn't love the characters, I wouldn't hear about it. But hearing about it keeps it there for me too.
I feel like it'd be hard to detox from the Avon Barksdale character, like just to get it all out.
Because that was also
system.
very long, ongoing for years and years and years of playing that character on The Wire. Also,
that was an easier character. I'm from Chicago. I could relate to urban settings and stuff like that. So I kind of, that's just me. So Avon and Ace, I can relate to, as a man, just growing up in Chicago.
You never played football growing up and everything?
I played basketball.
You played basketball?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played football too, but I'm more of a basketball player.
Wide receiver?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wide receiver. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about who Wood Harris is as a person and growing up in Chicago, because I did read that you at one point did want to be a rapper. You used to rap.
I am a rapper. I told Charlamagne this a long time ago.
Yeah, when he was on Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
He spit a
I still am a
freestyle.
rapper. Actually, I got my stuff coming out. Actually, I was in the studio the other day with Dr. Dre. Did a song with Dr. Dre. Why? Because
Were you really?
I wanted to, maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know how hard
well,
it is
I went
for
there
his...
to meet with him to talk about some other things, and why in that sense was it happened organically like that.
Got you.
I'm kind of a
his
studio
own artist
rat,
can't even get
you
in
know.
there.
Also, Dre wanted to do like a
I'm
movie
talking
or TV or something.
No, he has television already, and a good friend of mine I grew up with is producing his show. And so I went over there just to sort of see what it was. He was curious about my take and just talking to him about acting in general.
And you still a real nigga. So you like, man, what's up with them beats?
So with the beats.
Throw a beat on.
So we went to the studio, we did the song, FSX. I got this thing, FSX. I'm going to slide it to y'all and get y'all's beautiful or ugly opinion. So
Listen, that's interesting. So what if you didn't like the beat that Dr. Dre put on, and can you be like, next? No, I don't like that one, next.
You gotta. I ain't do that. But I told Dr. Dre, my birthday is the same as Eminem's, right? So I told him that, and he's kind of a interesting guy, and he played off of that, how he was sort of around me.
Did he play one beat, or did he give you something?
No, we
to
went through a
choose
bunch
from?
of beats.
Wow.
Bunch of beats, yeah. But I mean, he got probably like, you know what I'm saying? A vault of beats.
I'm not mad at that at all. Now, we just recently saw you in the New Edition movie series that was on BET.
Playing Brooke.
And we met Brooke. Actually, Brooke came up here in real life. And I was like, wow, I really see, like, you really bought his character.
Yeah,
Even
Brooke.
meeting him, I'm
Love
like,
Brooke.
okay, I see you acted just like how he acted when he was up here.
Yeah. I love Brooke. And that was so special, man. Those kids. Just love working with those kids. And they say it's hard to work with kids and animals, but that ain't true. Those kids are just, they're perfect people. And the older actors too. I truly love the people sometimes I'm working with, like I love the guys, you know what I mean? Like a teammate who loves the players on the team type, you know. So I really love those actors in that. Idris and Mike and Hassan, I love those dudes.
And Mac Wiles, because now he's
Mac,
on the breaks
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, my whole cast on the breaks.
What research did you do to play Brooke? Did you shadow
Brooke
him?
was a producer there, and yes, I was with him the whole time. I did have to do research. I wasn't really aware of all the things he had done. So, you know, my research was right there with him. Also with Paid in Full was like that. I was with Ace, AZ actually, like the whole time. He was instrumental in me getting that role in Paid in Full. He was kind of the last step. Flew me out here from LA, met with him in a restaurant, told me a story that's in the movie, and like an outpost story. And then a week later we were shooting, and I was really like, I love this. I gotta really can't do a disservice to this real life person who that's the same with Brooke.
Right.
Like you get a role, you don't want to do a disservice to somebody standing across from you, you know. So you're just like, I gotta nail this, you know. You really just put it on your back, I guess.
One of my favorite scenes from Paid in Full is when you walk in the house and Regina Hall tells you she's crying. So you think it's the little boy that's dead, but it's actually Mitch.
Yeah.
And just your reaction was just real, but it was just, you were just like, you put your hands on your hip.
Yeah. Like stuff like that is not scripted, but if that's why you got to be committed, so you can find like really you just want to find the moments, because you know you guys gonna get asked to do all kinds of stuff. Y'all can call me if y'all need some advice. But I'm sure y'all already do, and just find every moment by moment. Just be, you know, just y'all get when you're in front of the camera and action happens, just be there and be as great as you can. Just be moment for moment though.
Was that in the script? Because you started shadow boxing.
No, none of that's in the script. That's what I mean. None of that's in
Yeah.
the script. You got to be like alive for the role, like, and you almost. I don't know if I would have reacted like that, but I could see him being like that, you know, because there's no words. So there's no words there.
None.
It's just Ace cries.
Wow.
Just says Ace cries. Yeah.
How do you choose your roles? Because I'm sure you get a lot of offers to do different things, but you've made some pretty great choices. You can't even anticipate. Like I know with The Wire, nobody even knew how big.
None of them can be anticipated, really. I get, you know, you really can't. I choose roles based on diversifying myself now, because I think I don't want you to see me play the bad guy too much. You'll just see me like that so much that it would be difficult for me to shape my career the way I want to. So over the last few years, I've been trying to just measure diversity in characters. So if it's something I've done already more than once and twice and I can't figure out how to make it feel new, probably not going to do it.
I could be bugging, but I feel like The Breaks is the first time you've been a TV regular since The Wire, right?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Why did you chose The Breaks?
Well, it's hip-hop, and y'all know I love hip-hop. It's New York, and it's not all that often you get to work in New York filming and a TV show in New York. And it's the people from The Wire. Lots of the background people are The Wire. Well, not background, but the behind-the-camera people are from The Wire, like Seath Man and Mac and lots of the crew and stuff. So I felt like the quality of it would be a certain way, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, you know, with Seath, all he had to really do is say, what you think about it? And I love the script. I was able to get a friend of mine who's a writer involved as a writer. And so, yeah, I'm just really involved in it. I love the 90s because, you know, the 90s was just dope. And New York in the 90s is so special, that era of music, 1990, not the 90s, like right there. And the smoke of the 80s is clearing, and it's 1990, and it's still really the 80s. It's not fully the 90s yet. And, you know, people didn't know what was going to happen in the industry, in the hip-hop industry. And I just love how the fledgling moguls, they moguls now, but those were guys who were just trying to make it.
Diddy, Jay.
Yeah, and they weren't what they are now, just like Tupac
Dr.
and
Dre,
all those other guys. Yeah, they were more like us. They were more like us in the sense where they were driven differently, driven like everybody else. Now they're moguls and they have different drive. The purposes are different for how they get up in the morning and move and all that kind of stuff. I like this character because he's able to be old school Russell Simmons. You know what I mean? And
a lot of coke, a lot of women.
Yeah, kind of like that. A little bit rock and roll, you know what I'm saying?
It was interesting watching the movie because the reason that you hired the woman to come in and work in the office is because she threw a drink on you. And I was like, I don't know if that would work in real life if somebody was persistent and then they threw a drink on you and then.
Yeah, that is tough. Like, that's some scripted stuff that's tough.
I don't want people to go try that. Like.
Yeah, don't go try that at home. But no, that's tough. Like, yeah, she threw the drink on me and she got hired. I don't know how to. It was in the script. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You got to make something like that work seamlessly if you can. And you don't always want to change a script because the moment doesn't seem real. Because it's moments like that can be like what makes the scene. You know what I mean?
I remember it because I was like,
you remember it,
yeah.
right? She threw a drink in his face and then got the job. You know, and then some people might like, damn, and other people might be like, well, that's not real or whatever. So, but the better we handle that, you know, the more real it'll seem.
Yeah, I guess sometimes things happen in real life that don't seem like they could be real anyway.
Most of the stuff.
Yeah, most of
Donald
the stuff.
Trump is the president. What you talking about?
That's real.
Hillary Clinton poured hot sauce out. You heard? Bernie Sanders was looking like Einstein, lost weight and stuff.
What do you watch?
Man's world, you know what I mean?
So funny.
What do I watch?
Yeah, like what do you watch? What does Will Harris watch?
I look at y'all. I don't really watch TV. I don't watch acting. I look at sports. I look at like conversational things. I look at documentary stuff. I don't really watch like a lot of TV. I don't watch episodics and stuff.
No Netflix and chill and
no Netflix.
You do watch a lot of sports because you slander the hell out of Kevin Durant.
I had to let him have it a little bit.
What did he do to you?
Robbed me a little bit of my love for the game a little by doing that. That was just bogus.
Just by clicking up with the Warriors like that?
That's how I felt.
I saw he had to get all that
Charlamagne.
security when he went there to go play and everything. They had extra security for him.
He
even
needed security, yeah, after that.
You was killing him the other day.
Plus, I'm
You was
cool
like-
with Westbrook. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm actually spoken to him about I produced a 30 for 30 and worked on the one that I'm on. And I also produce another television show. So sometimes I get with those guys and do different things. So with Westbrook, his background story is very interesting. So I met with him last season, I guess, for the first time. I like him a lot. And you know what? Kevin Durant, I don't dislike that move, though.
You called him a cupcake. You said it's hard to watch a traitor. You said Kevin Durant is looking like a real chump right now.
I had to say it like that, man. You know, in the passion of watching it, I'm doing that. But then I went and I was on some sports show and they put the tweets up and I said, oh man,
you knew that was gonna
this
happen.
dude want to jack me in the jaw when he see me thinking. But no, I respect the players off the court, on the court. I'm just a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to throw a tomato of, you know, not the real deal, but you know, I can throw tomatoes or I can applaud my favorites. And I can't really dislike Kevin Durant. That move, though, I can't get with that.
What was the difference between Durant's move and LeBron's move, you think?
Well, I mean, the similarities is easier to say. I mean, the basketball players who left a team went to another team. That's really the only similarity. I mean, the main difference, I think, to highlight with Kevin Durant is that he left a team that was up in their series against the Warriors, who was 73-9, ended up with a 73 they had a 73-9 season, and in the playoffs they were defeating them. Kevin Durant is why they lost. Really, well, it's a team loss, but he had a lot in part to that. Your boy is on the team that, me and Draymond, he's on that team. He coerces you to coming over to that team, and I just believe that leaving your squad, going to another squad in that way, it's just a betraying thing to me. Like, I'm just the type, if I'm on your squad and I ain't on your squad next year, I'm playing against you, it ain't because I did it.
Yeah.
So when I saw the game, when I was calling him a cupcake, it was actually sad. It was actually sad for me to say. I ain't never felt sad at a basketball game, you know? I get sad at a basketball game during it, but I guess I'm too emotionally involved. And maybe I'm too emotionally involved in this. I don't know.
I think what you're saying, like Kevin should have had won a redemption the next year. Like let's go back next year and bust
the
it.
integrity
right
of an athlete, the integrity of a champion, and I don't see that. Even if you get the chip, like the integrity of the champion ain't there. Just the ability of the champion. And so we learned that you can go get a chip, you can go get the ring just with the ability. If Kevin Durant, I got my money on LeBron if they come out the East. Me being from Chicago, I got to support the Bulls, but you know, I feel like LeBron out the East against KD, and I just think that I just got to always go for the East anyway, whether it's the All-Star game or the championship. So
did Russell give you any insight to their relationship while you was doing the 30?
Nah, he would never do anything like that. Pretty quiet dude, and just normal guy, but he's only my size. I'm pretty tall in the real world, but in NBA, I'm a midget. You know what I mean? He's pretty much my size. When I was like, man, you're my size playing like that? I just can't believe you, dude. And he got my son's birthday, right? I was like, man, I want my son to play like you.
Did it make you question your career choices? Like, damn, I should have played ball.
No, I played ball. I couldn't be the pro that those dudes are. I mean, I don't think I was gonna be a pro like that. I didn't have the hoop dream like that. I'm fulfilling my dream, and when I was 12 years old, I would see like black and white movies, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, Marlon Brando type movies, and go in the other room and be in the mirror like 10, 9 years old. Yeah, you'll never get me coppers and all this type of shit. Already, practicing in a sense. And I believe stuff like that really helped my imagination. I would just already go in the mirror. I still do it. I'll go in the mirror like I did Broadway a couple of years ago. And I'll just go in the mirror and just go into myself. And just not give a hoot about nobody, what they say, and throw caution to the wind and just be naked in that sense. And but basketball never was really I can play. I'm probably the best actor basketball player.
Like Above the Rim, because that was your first movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's an actor. It might be. I mean, I can't name. I mean, it probably is.
What actor is better at basketball?
You wouldn't lose and get mad and then grab your gun and want to shoot people on the opposing team, though, right?
No, I wouldn't. Above the
Did
rim.
you have a relationship with Pac, like off that film? Outside of that film?
Slightly. Like I spoke to Pac 2 weeks before he died. So I wasn't. I wouldn't say I talked to him a lot, but 2 weeks before he died, like right before he got shot, and then I think he lived
7 days,
something like that. Yeah. So I spoke to him a week before he got shot.
What was that conversation about?
A fast conversation. I was out here. I think I was doing As Good as It Gets. I had a small role in this movie called As Good as It Gets.
That's a Jack Nicholson movie.
Yeah. And somebody that I knew was like, oh man, you know what? I know Pac, and we was talking about you, this and that. Oh yeah. Just grabbed him, called him up. Yo, put me on the phone on him because I wouldn't have called him. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's up, man? How's it going? Just a regular conversation. That's the thing. I never had a weird conversation with Tupac. He was bright, very bright. Everybody kind of knows Tupac. That's what I learned about him from an artist. Is he left like him, We kind of know. If somebody said, "What's Tupac like?" You know already.
That's what
we know what Tupac is like. You genuinely know. We know the Dear Mama Tupac, and we know the the disrespectful Tupac as it relates to the hit him up Tupac. So we know those characters. That was Tupac. He talked to me about like Gandhi, Lorraine Hansberry, who was a playwright. She wrote Raisin in the Sun.
Right.
And I was a rapper at the time, and I was pretty cocky. Like I ain't, that wasn't this Tupac. That was Tupac only one movie in. You know what I mean? And he wasn't iconic or none of that. So the way I looked at everybody was that, it's equal. You know what I'm saying? I just look at all the rappers the same, and in terms of, I feel like a rapper, so let's rap. I never thought any. But then, turn of events during Above the Rim, at the end of the movie, he was shot the first time, and the movie wasn't done yet. At the end of Above the Rim, there's a lookalike. There's a lookalike at the end of Above the Rim.
I gotta go back.
Hold on, now the end of Above the Rim is when he goes.
We're on the court.
You're on the court, and he hands
if
you
you
a
look at
duffel
that,
bag.
they're using the same shots. I hate to sort of, go into the magic of the movie, but yeah, they're using a close-up of Tupac to show aggression on the court. At that time, he was not around anymore. He had shot that already, and then they just kept on using the same stuff for Tupac.
But he handed you the duffel bag, though.
They shot that already, but there was more to shoot, so they ended up cutting out stuff and taking stuff away and reshaping the movie, because at the end of the movie,
He was shot
in real life.
Wow, that's great. I gotta go back and look at that.
And
So
I lived up the
Marlon-
block from Pac when he got shot. I was on 48th. I lived on 48th between 8th and 9th.
Oh, he was living in New York at the time.
Yeah.
So when Marlon shot him, that was really him, though, at the end, right?
When Marlon shot him, what you mean?
And Above the Rim.
I'm not sure. I have to look at it to see, because when I look at it, I see the because I see it.
Right, because you would.
I see the
You know what happened.
what do you call it? Look-alike. But I'm gonna tell you, the guy looks just like Tupac.
Where the hell is he now?
You can. I'm wondering that myself. But yeah, I was just thinking that like, where's that dude? But I just saw a little bit of the Tupac movie maybe a few months ago.
Oh, the one that Benny Boom.
Because I know. Yeah. No, LT like Hutton, LT Hutton.
LT Hutton and Benny Boom.
Yeah, and Benny Boom together. Yeah. Yeah, I saw some of that, and that guy. He looks like Tupac, but this is the other guy. He was just a spitting image of Tupac. You know what I mean?
I wonder how that dynamic worked though, because you also East Coast heavy. Did you have like a look at this dude Pac dissing all the East Coast artists?
Nah. At that time, it wasn't like that. Pac wasn't even dissing people. It was
early.
Yeah, that was pre-Suge Knight. So really that Suge Knight was the instigation of Tupac's, like, remember, Tupac was out on bail, literally. Mm-hmm. He was only out, like, I don't know, 6 months before he died or something, or a year. 6 months later, Biggie died. That was pretty tragic music history, you know, and that's just bad times. But he did so much in 4 years. He was only on the scene maybe 4 years?
7, I think.
7 years? Because he died at 25. So he was on the scene from a teenager?
Digital Underground.
Well, not that. I'm not to not include that, but I'm not really including the Digital Underground.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you go into this thing, but just Pac. You know what I mean? But when he got out of jail, Cat only lived like a few more months. You know what I mean? Did all these records. He got records now that's going to come out in a few months. And he was already, just like everybody is now, tatted up. He was already here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He was literally, I remember the first time I saw the Thug Life, nobody was tatted back then like that. Nobody had body tats and he didn't have a sleeve, but tats all over the body. So Pac would like not have a shirt on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I remember seeing it, I was just like, damn. It was just shocking.
Right.
Literally shocking. He was like, oh, I never seen nobody like put that shit right then. He was all into it. Like he was all in and committed as an artist. And I think that the Suge Knight turn was kind of a bad turn for him.
I love the 90s, man. Why do you think, I like the late 80s and 90s, but why do you think these period pieces are more popular than ever now?
I think, well, as far as New Edition, I mean, that had a lot of complexities to it. So I think you get the era out of it because, we got the curl hair and all that type of stuff. But I think that the 90s, as far as the breaks and all, we need that. It's like, at this point, it's refreshing. Mm-hmm. We don't know what to do futuristically. If we have to go in the past, we ain't going to the 80s too much, a little bit. Cats getting the box haircuts with the lines in them, and you can rock anything aesthetically. But the energy in the 90s, was that fertile energy, that you feel like something's gonna spawn from this, that dream energy cats used to have before. You guys are on the show, and congratulations again, being 3 years on Revolt and everything. But you guys are doing the show, that energy you had when you was with Wendy and when you had your feet moving in the direction where you were driven, and that digging you do, that's so important to keep that.
The process.
Yeah, the feeling of like, I'm getting up and I'm Charlemagne, and Cat's gonna say something to me every 10 feet I move. But I still gotta be the digger right now. I still gotta dig, because the goal is deeper, so to have longevity like you guys have and will continue to have, I'm excited. I'm happy for y'all.
Thank you.
I mean,
I saw recently that 50 Cent, because he has those deals with stars for new shows, and he was saying that you are his dream character to play in one of the shows that he has, a superhero story.
Yeah.
I think it's set in Chicago, is it?
Yeah.
Is that in the
likely
works?
It is in the works. I've been cool with 50 for a long time. You know what I mean? Y'all know 50, and if you know 50, he's just, I'm solid with him, and I got a lot of love for the dude, and he really does get into me as an actor, and he talked to me about that some time ago, and the script I had already seen from a few years ago. It came from a film to a TV show, and we discussed that a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you get home to Chicago a lot?
Well, sometimes, man, it's so bad now in Chicago. It's kind of crazy, but I haven't been there. I usually go like the Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? But I've been bringing my mom to me, because it's pretty crooked out there.
She still live in Chicago? She don't want to leave?
She don't want to leave.
The old people like, no.
She don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Even when she visit, You know, she'd be ready to go back
He's like,
because
"I
it's
miss
just what
home."
she knows. Yeah,
What do you
Did your
think of
parents
Trump?
anticipate all of this happening for you? And your brother's an actor too.
yeah.
Did
Steve
they
Harris.
anticipate? Like, how did that happen? Was it something going on in the house where they?
No, we
did-
wasn't the Jacksons. You know what I'm saying? We lived on Jackson though, Jackson Boulevard. But man, I don't know. It's just a strange, like you said, like we were saying. You know, it's just that strange life stuff. Like my brother's an actor too. That's just what it is.
Steve, hold on. You talking about the crazy nigga that be in all of using the Tyler
Steve
Perry
Harris,
movies?
yeah.
That's his brother.
No, man.
That's his brother.
You ain't know that
Really?
Charlamagne? Stop playing.
No, I didn't know that.
That's my older brother, man. Yeah, he's how I kind of got like my break in Above the Rim, which was my first audition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very what's the word? I wouldn't say. Well, I'm lucky, I guess you could say. Highly favored, whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Did both of y'all? He went to school. Did you go to school? You went to school, right?
I did. I
he
went
go
to
too?
NYU. He
You got your
did.
master's.
I did.
Wow.
I was accepted into Yale, NYU. I chose NYU because I'm a rapper. I wanted to be here on the mic. To be honest with you, I didn't know what was gonna happen with acting because that's kind of so collaborative. But you can go write your own lyrics, and if you're a poet at all, you can go write your own stuff. So I was just like, I'm choosing New York. I ain't going to Connecticut, and I would have been in Sanaa Lathan's class, and she went to Yale.
Right.
Sanaa Lathan and DB.
Although New
Woodside.
Haven's not that
Man,
far from New York.
you missed the
It's
moment
I
to
didn't
shoot
know
your
that,
shot,
though.
man.
Right.
Huh?
You missed the moment to shoot your shot.
It's not.
Could have been in class with Shania.
It's not cool. It's not cool.
What's the best route for a kid to take? To go to school for acting or just go to LA and
I think it
wing
depends on. I depend on like me being from Chicago, me not leaving Chicago. I mean, I had to go to college. If I didn't do it, I mean, I'd have been home, and it wouldn't have been all right because I'm from the west side of Chicago, which is just very urban, as they say. So we grew up like in the row houses near not far from the project. So gotta leave that. My brother was like that. That's how come I credit my brother to my evolution. But I think the best route is school if you in a situation like that because you got to move. Like you need a new society. You know what I mean? You can't be in this environment anymore because it's too toxic. So you get this new environment, you're able to recreate yourself, and then you create the actor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm this dude who think he could play ball with an actor in my heart who didn't do it, who stayed in Chicago and maybe got involved with the wrong thing, made some money with the wrong people in jail, and just that typical route. But I think as long as I was able to separate myself from that path and being, like I said, another society, collegiate, yeah, and I'm not a academic person like that, even though people might think so. I'm talking about Yale and all that. But I was doing it as an escape. Like I was
That's
a
interesting
refugee in
because
college.
We had Jadena up here the other day, and he talked about he went to Stanford with Issa Rae, and they worked together on some things. That's how he ended up on her show Insecure.
Wow.
But I'm sure for you going to NYU, there's a lot of actors, directors,
Oh, yeah.
producers that went there. Do you still network with any of those people to this day?
Yeah, man, it's crazy names and stuff because now it's been so much time. But Malcolm Lee, who directed, yeah,
Best Man.
great friend of mine, went to school together. In fact, we did a short film together that got him started. It also got me my age. I got kicked out of NYU. I was incorrigible. I was incorrigible, dog. I'm from Chicago. I was incorrigible, and I was in there. I would come late.
Rapping in
I
the
heard that
hallway.
they petitioned for you to actually.
Oh yeah. I still got my diploma because the Prosperity Party is just crazy around me. It really is. I still got the diploma, but what happened was I got above the rim the first year. I was a freshman in college. I got above the rim. They allowed me to do the movie in that I wouldn't make up the semester. And remember, this is like conservatory education, so it's not written papers and stuff. It's more like we drilling Charlamagne because he has Southern. We can still hear Southernness or the Southern drawl in certain parts. They want to get that out of you. Or me glottalizing my words, being from the hood, on my words getting chopped off. And so they get you able to play Shakespeare. They get you able to be Broadway theater. I've done Shakespeare in the Park and Broadway and all that stuff. As a conservatory. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm on track with the question, but when I was in the school, I got above the rim. Yeah, I got above the rim. They allowed me to not take that semester under the premise of being on probation. Probation meant you can't be late. I was late. Late every day. Late every day.
What were you doing that you was late?
I was
Rapping.
filming. I was
'cause you were
rapping.
filming.
I was rapping.
Okay.
No, I filmed with. The way I got kicked out is I filmed with Malcolm Lee, the Malcolm Lee movie. They got me my agent and got him his agent and his move forward. We did that. We became friends and we did that movie together. And so that took time. And during that time, I just like, all right, I'm late. And I'm just late. and all the other times was studio. It's New York.
Right.
So I'm not really being no student. As soon as I left the building out the door, I was not a student anymore. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to see if I could be the best rapper, and I was just trying to be the best, you know, and I was late. It kicked me out. And what happened was the Zelda, who was the head of the department at the time, she took my record of tardiness and put it on the board. It's like the little school board. Everybody can walk through the hall and see it. And it was like personal stuff on there. My probation information was on there. Like she put my case on the board, you know what I'm saying? And so the student president, Steve Ramsher, shout out Steve Ramsher, he came and he was like, this isn't right. He was just like that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like prosperity is around all of us because y'all are receiving it. It ain't just me. You guys are where y'all are for the same thing. Y'all got stories that, you know, chips along the way. But so this dude was like, no, this isn't right. You know what I mean? She can't put your stuff on the board like this. And the students all said, yeah, you know, this isn't right. Now me, I was thinking I was going to do Bring the Noise, Bring the Funk at the time. It was a Broadway play with Savion Glover. And I had been secretly auditioning for that because I was like, well, I'm gonna get it popping now. Because, you know, Zelda was personally telling me stuff and I kind of knew. The class didn't know, but she gave me a forecast ahead of time. We're going to get you out of here for that. I'm going to get you out. Because she kind of had it in for me. I was incorrigible and very, like, I want to just say black. You know what I mean? I just was
No,
black.
you being
like,
a nigga.
You
I was just being a
I
nigga.
was
Yeah.
doing it.
Like, I was probably the best actor in the class. I don't want to say that because other people need to say that, but I felt like that. In my class was the guy who played Dexter. Shout out Mike Hall. You guys ever see Dexter? Dan Kim from Lost. We had a great class.
I see.
Yeah. And but I would come to class, literally go to sleep under the desk.
Oh, come on.
Man, I promise you, man, like that.
No, that is.
No, because let me tell you, the desk would be lined up along the wall. Like if this was the wall, the desk would be lined up. And the teacher would be at this end, and the room was made so that, like, now Charlamagne got to go in front of everybody and do his stuff, whatever the work was. So I would take the desk opposite the teacher, be under the desk, yo, literally like.
So you can't blame Zelda because she was kind of.
Nah, she still was wrong. She still was
You
wrong.
were sleeping under the
But
desk.
that's not why I
coming
got
late
kicked
every
out.
day on
I got kicked
probation.
out for late. I got kicked out because I was late. And then listen, they were insensitive to a lot of people at that time. There was only, a small amount of black people in NYU grad. Now there's, I think, more. Mahershala Ali went there.
Oh.
He's after me.
Moonlight?
But yeah, from Moonlight. I forget my man's name, man. I'm messing up. But he was he played Christopher Darden on in OJ. That OJ, he has a new show now too. They went there. But we were the first class of like Negroes at NYU to have that size class. So it was about 4 of us,
Right.
which is a lot. One of us, she passed away during school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Rest in peace. I love her to death. Batima Cochran. She was my classmate. And I felt like they were insensitive to her. So I just was like,
Rebelling, kind of.
yeah. Like I had the whole Tupac all day going on. This Tupac coming out the hospital bandaged up with the last word was F you, son. Like I just was like that so much.
You felt like
and then
it
I
was
had
like-
the cockiness of doing a movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm in above the
now
rim,
I'm doing
it's
theater.
cocky.
Well, yeah, because I could leave out the
Yeah.
building and people already would say, "Yo, man, let me get your,
Right.
let me get your autograph." And I was like, "Oh shit, get an autograph." But let me tell you something funny though. Like,
What movie was out at that time? that
Above
you
the
had-
Rim.
Above the Rim.
Above the
Okay.
but but I've done plays. You know, you're meant to be an actor. Like I've had students ask for autographs from plays. You know, during school.
Right.
You know, so it gave me confidence.
Right.
You know, it gave me confidence. Like
And arrogance.
little bit of arrogance,
Yeah.
but the type I think you need to feel like you number one. You need to feel that way whether it's true or not. You need to feel like the best at what you're doing whether it's true or not. People will tell you whether it's true or not. But
Right.
Did you ever feel like, because I remember when I first started doing radio in Charleston, South Carolina, I started to go back to school for a radio degree, but I was sitting in the class and I'm like, why am I here? I need to be at the radio station. So I quit. I'd rather spend all my time at the station. Did you ever get that feeling? Like, why am I here when I can be auditioning? And
You know, I didn't feel that way because, well, I had like a scholarship. So that part of that money was like, if I ain't had no money, you know what I mean? My rent and everything was paid from the school at the time because I had a scholarship. I auditioned. Let me tell you, I auditioned for school. Right. So I want people to know that. Like Charlamagne said, yo, what's the route? If it is the scholastic route where you go into the schools, the top schools are on the east would be NYU, Rutgers, Juilliard. You audition for that. You do a 2-minute monologue. You could be 32 years old, 21 years old, whatever. You just have to have had undergrad school, right? And in that audition process, it's just 2 monologues, 2-minute monologues. And if you're great, you're going to get in. I mean, the margin is slim. They take like 2,000-3,000 people, and they take like 10 people out of it.
Wow.
A few thousand people. But you got to imagine, you know, some of those people got to be black. That number is going to be 100 black people they're choosing within.
It's a smaller pool for
that you're being chosen from. So I would say, like Charlamagne asked, you know, if you need to be in a society, like he put himself in the right place, and it's different with acting. Like you can revolutionize the radio, and you guys have in many ways. And you guys are part of the evolution of the game, the Breakfast Club. You know, and so that's because you did that. You know, if I wouldn't have gone to school, like I said, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? I definitely wouldn't be here if I had not gone to school. It wasn't about the schooling, but I needed that society, so I can be enriched by it a little bit if needed be, or a lot, but I'm definitely not over here that's toxic. Right. So I think you put yourself, I mean, what are they going to teach you in radio school? I don't even know how these things work. Like, they might have you taking a class like, now we're like building technical microphones. I'm like, wait a minute. You know?
Right. Technical, like running the boards and stuff like that. And I don't know.
I feel the same way about acting, though. Can they
so.
teach you to be a good actor? Like those instincts? Like...
No, but like I told you, like, let's say you do have diction things, you know, because a lot of black people might be a little hard to understand, you know what I mean? Be talking like this and think everybody know what you're saying, but nobody knows what you're saying.
That could work in some roles.
You feel me?
It work in a role, but you still got to, even if you're doing it in a role, you got to articulate enough, you know? So, but I think that actors who if you're gonna not be schooled at all, then the schooling is gonna be theater. You can't just go get a movie or television unless you're remarkably lucky. And I don't know how lucky you are. That might be that one hit thing, boom, boom, and it's over because you didn't come in with a certain amount. I mean, when I was first seen in Above the Rim, I was seasoned actor already.
Right.
You guys have never seen me not as a seasoned actor, and it's because of schooling and just my own sort of world I created for myself, my own imagination, but definitely the school thing. It allowed me to feel like I ain't gangbanging. You know what I mean? I'm Wood Harris.
And I'm sure there's different techniques that you learn to make you a better actor. I always feel like if you do something well, you could always do it better if
Absolutely.
you study it.
You're right. And also, you ain't got to go to school, though, is the thing.
Right,
you can study it and not go to school. Like, I can give you all stuff and y'all be like, okay.
Also? Like, as an actor, it's important for you to know
I think you should learn it, but they don't teach that. They if you're going for acting, then they're not going to give you any directing stuff.
Because you produce also.
And I will direct, too. I have opportunity to do stuff like that, yeah.
You have an A&E show?
I do. A&E show. I can't talk a whole lot about it. It's untitled at the moment. It'll come out, I think, at the end of the fall. But I'm producing the show. It's partly animated. It's like I want to say superhero, urban superhero. And the B plot of it is animated. So we got the Comic-Con brand within the B plot of and it's the animator is a guy from the Boondocks, is well animated. And
wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's gonna be great. My brother Akil is the lead of it. Akil Muhammad is the lead of it. I produce it and I'm on it as a narrator. Nah, Akil is no. Akil Muhammad is a good friend of mine out of LA, my bro. And we produce it together, but he's the lead of it. And you guys don't know Akil yet. You'll get to know him a couple of months.
Most of all the great actors go to school, right? Like Denzel went to school, didn't he? Because I'm just trying to wrap my head around, because that's the thing that gets lost in Hollywood. True. Everybody's like, oh, go to Hollywood. But we don't talk about the schooling of it enough.
Nah, you're going to get schooled unless you go to school. Like, in a sense, I think for people like Denzel, he's probably more like me in the sense where going to school was what he needed to get into the right area. You know what I mean? So you can be in that area where you got to go where the goal is to dig for gold. So, and if you're not in there competing, at least you can compete too in school, and you see other talent. Oh, you can say, oh man, I'm better than him and him and him. I'm all right. You start getting confidence. So when you go and audition for a movie or television or anything like that, you have a greater confidence. It's different for y'all because if y'all are seen for things, they have an idea of who y'all are already. Schooling for y'all can be like literally somebody saying, yo, like Charlamagne Carlin Wood, yo man, they want me to play like Marion Barry, right? Charlamagne, right?
I can see that.
Well, he could probably do that, right? They say, yeah, you know, the value of his, you know, the value, you guys brought so much value to the show that, you know, opportunities will come all over the place. So I'm just hypothetically speaking. So, boom, Wood, they got me, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do it. And then it's a real life character, I would just give him kind of what I think he would need to do that. And that would be on-site training, you know what I'm saying, for such a difficult role. You're still going to need something like that. You're not going to be able to just go do this. You can, but it's going to be a fart.
It won't be so.
That's how you explain the Pacs and Will Smiths, and that's what they did, basically?
Will Smith?
Pac, Will Smith.
I don't know
Def.
really. Pac studied theater. You know, that's why he was talking about Lorraine Hansberry. Remember, he went to the art school in, I think, Baltimore.
Yeah, you're right.
So he had, he was already, you know, like I said, he had that little bit of foundation from that. Will Smith, I don't really know his background and stuff like that.
But I know Taraji in her memoir, she talks about her acting, and she went to Howard. But what really helped her out was when she went to go be in Malcolm X, her friends that went to Howard were in the costume department. And so that's how you like network with people. And so when she got there, they kind of made sure she was dressed. They gave her like the best stuff to wear, put this on, do this. So she was able to get in the front.
She was in Malcolm X?
Yeah, I mean, she was just in the audience when he was giving
one of the
speech.
kids that was saying, I am
But
Malcolm
she managed
X.
to make it to the front. And she's like, if you listen to it, you can hear me going, yes, sir, tell it. Like but she talks about like just even getting her SAG card and having a speaking role and having your voice heard. But she did say that it helped her to have people that went to school with her that knew her so they could make sure she was good. And school does help for those things. If you're in school with people that have a common goal, and then later on it's like, okay, you know, let me hook up my boy Will Harris. We went to school together.
Yeah, it's that process of creating our own system. Because, you know, when you talk about white privilege and it's a system of whiteness.
It is a system.
So we got to create our own system of
This is true.
blackness.
This is true. This is true. I love Taraji, by the way.
Yeah.
She's dope. Like, she's just dope. She gets a lot of opportunities. She deserves the opportunities, and she makes us look good. I mean, us as a culture, she kind of makes us look good.
No, her book was the first book I put in my book club. Her memoirs is really, I thought it was a great read. She talks a lot about how she got to where she got to, just her whole personal everything. And I know a lot of people, I want to be an actor, I want to do this, but they don't realize all the work.
That process.
That really goes into it. It's not just like, I auditioned, I got the role.
Yeah, because acting, if it's done, like people think I'm Avon, or, you know, if you do it well enough,
They do think
they just lost in the role. And also, I think everybody wants to be an actor, even more than like some kind of athlete. Because at a certain point, I know I ain't going pro because that dude is so much better. I'm done growing, whatever it is. But you can always feel like, I think I still can be an actor. You know what I mean?
No matter how old you are.
No matter how old you are.
What you look like.
I'm going to pull a Morgan Freeman, you know what I'm saying? And go pro at whatever, 50.
Yeah.
So, and people do it.
Right.
You know, so because of that, I think that you end up with a lot of like, I think the cream always rises to the top. You want to be a part of the cream of whatever you're doing, to me.
Right.
So you're going to get a lot of stuff, you know. Like nowadays, everybody is trying to be like some kind of blogger, some kind of, like literally like you
That's
can just,
true.
every time you turn it on, it's a new dude going, and here's another thing, and a green screen behind me too. And I said that. Like, damn, man, I don't give a shit. How about that? But, you know, so, I mean, when you the cream of it, it's just, they're like inspired.
Right.
You know you're the cream when you're inspiring because you're not really trying to do it. You're just walking down the street. I mean, you're on your path, so to speak, but you're inspiring others. So now the blogosphere is like, people have come to me, you should do one. I'm like, damn, everybody got to do one. You know what I mean? Like, wow, you got a mic too? So, you know, I think be the cream if you can. Just be persistent and determined because it gets you further than talent. You know what I'm saying? If you got talent and those other things, you good. But if you're persistent and determined, but young people want to be actors or they want to do these things that we do, and they seeing y'all, and they do, y'all make it look easy too. They think they can just go get a microphone and say something. Charlamagne can always out the blue say something
crazy.
Yeah. So they think they can do it, but that's this dude.
But you know
like,
what?
You
And
can't
I
really
always say if
just
you-
do
yeah.
him. Like you can't just be that dude.
If you
so
do a great job, it looks easy.
exactly.
But it's supposed to look like it's not
It's
hard
seamless.
to do. If it looks like it's hard, you're not doing a great job if you make it look difficult.
Well, they say hard work beats talent when talent
doesn't work hard.
I feel like you and Makai gave Cameron some on-the-job training for Paid in Full.
Cameron is dope.
Cameron did a great
Cameron,
job.
Cameron is great in that. Without Cameron being great, that movie ain't gonna be no classic.
That's true.
Yeah, Cameron. Let me tell you Cameron's story real quick that I could tell. Because it's
Somebody
Cameron.
can't
Shout out
tell.
Cam. I love Cam. Every time I see him, it's just
Did you watch his
it's paid in
Instagram
full
live
love.
the other day? He
His
was on
what?
Instagram live for like 3 hours.
What did he?
Yeah.
It was great. It was actually kind of
Like
kind of
performing
He
or
was
talking?
interviewing
Just talking
himself.
about Jim Jones, talking about his history with Jim Jones.
Are they cool? Are they back cool? I know it's
a
a
little
beef.
falling out. Yeah, so he was just explaining his side of the story.
He said I always love him, but they not really on
Yeah,
the
because
same page right now.
Jim did an interview with Funk Flex where he explained his side of the story. So Cam explained his side on Instagram Live. It was actually kind of like epic. If you grew up in that era, you was like, wow, it was
Oh, okay.
must see IG.
Yeah. I love. First of all, I remember meeting like Jim Jones back then, and I didn't know his role in the group. You know what I'm saying? I just knew Cam. But anyway, Cam is a dope actor. I wish he would have and he still can, but I wish after Paid in Full that the
He'll
light
keep
was
going.
shined on that more. Yeah, because Cam was really dope. He was dope in the sense like a real actor. Like he went in on Alpo. He did that work. Like he researched it. He went and talked to the guy, and he did everything he could to be him. And from me and Makai, he just let us like lead. You know what I'm saying? So he was an active listener, like looking at us with his eyes open and catching us like, okay, ready for the ball in a sense. So you didn't have to teach him like that's great acting already. You're listening. Like once you're listening, you're gonna give a genuine response. So when you're looking at his eyes in the movie, you see genuine expression in his eyes and mine and Makai. That's why Paid in Full is dope and will always be that way because it's real in our eyes. A lot of close-ups. I mean that technically. It's a lot of close-ups. And you don't see this like an actor. Okay, this is an actor right here in the microphone, and the actor's like right here, right? Actor's right here. It's me. I'm off. Now I'm gazing at the microphone empty-eyed, like I'm not really looking at the microphone. Or I could be really locked into the microphone, and there's this way of gazing that's not there. And a lot of time actors do that. Like I can show you right now. It's like I'm looking at you like.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see I'm not really looking at you, but it looks like I'm looking at you.
Right.
I'm not. Now I am, right? You see I'm looking at you now, right? You see the difference? There's a difference. Watch my eyes. Watch my eyes.
It doesn't look that focused.
Angela Yee wet
I'm
now.
not looking at you. Am I looking
Right.
at you? Can you see?
I see what you're saying.
Now you
Now
see
you're
I'm
looking.
really looking at you.
Right. I can see
So
the difference.
actors have a way of like this, like same thing you do.
You're not looking at me.
I'm not looking at you.
Charlamagne.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Through me.
Yeah. As opposed to. So actors play it safe a lot of times because they don't have to connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes will be dead. Even great actors. So
That's why Makai, when he was in the car crying,
that's
it was
real.
so ill.
Bro.
You
That
can
was
see
the
it all in
best
his
scene.
eye.
Yeah, that was man. Makai is so dope. Makai did that. That was 2 takes. He did both takes the same way.
Wow.
Those tears were real. And it's crazy how it came out the side, like
Yeah.
it's going down the grill like it was CG'd on there, but it's
Yeah.
real. I was in the scene like, I had to feed him the lines. And so what's fake about that is that I'm on a cinder block. He's sitting, it's different than y'all think. So, I'm on a cinder block outside the car. The way they had the setup was weird. So I'm seeing him through the window, and he's going in. He making it a classic. He making this movie a classic, because Makai was about that business. So he's giving me the lines. I'm telling you, whatever. And I remember feeling the real goosebumps from the scene. And that don't happen a lot. I don't know if I ever had that experience,
Goosebumps
but that
feeling?
time. Yeah, from a performance right in front. Because Makai's from Harlem.
So he was
Cameron
very
from
connected.
Harlem. You know how much Paid in Full meant to them?
Right. They're
I'm
very
from
connected to
Chicago. The
story.
lead was from Chicago. But I'm an honorary New Yorker. And even if I was, it'd be Brooklyn, though. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey, shout out to Brooklyn.
yeah, shout out Brooklyn. But I got so much Harlem. I'm just an honorary New Yorker across the board. When I go to Harlem, it's just
What was your Cameron
Elvis
story?
or something. Oh, Cameron from Paid in Full. There's a scene in the movie where this guy drives up and he's like, "Yo, what's up? It's dry out there. Your man ain't got nothing." And you
Yeah.
see Cam walk up to him. And now the script says he's supposed to just walk up to him, punch him, right? Cameron really punches him, for real. Cameron snatch him out the car. That's not in the script. This dude had a real busted lip. You heard? He snatched him out the car, whole body hitting everything, every step. Slammed him on the ground, really stealing on him. I remember I remember when the director, Charles Stone directed Paid in Full. Shout out Charles Stone. He was like, yo, Wood, we had the best shot today. I just got to tell you what happened. He said, Cam really punched the guy. We kept it. We got it. He was so excited. And when you see it, that's real. That's why it's a jump cut. In other words, it's cut within one shot.
Right.
Jump cut is you see it cut within one shot. There's no camera angles on it. It's a jump cut. You see a punch, then another punch, then another punch, because they caught one.
And the guy ran down the street.
And the guy ran down the street.
So he was really scared.
Well, I don't know if he was really
He was
scared.
trying to
That guy's
keep it going.
acting. He
He's
just
like, I don't
stayed
want to do
in
this scene
character.
again.
Yeah, he just stayed there. Man, you know how
You got to
man,
get in character too. At
no
that
pun
point.
intended. He rolled with the punches.
Right. After that, you're not going to do a second take.
Yeah, ain't
You
no
gotta
second
kinda
take.
roll
It's
with
a
it.
wrap. I remember. It's great when you can get that kind of like that's real stuff. So Paid in Full got that kind of stuff in it. You know.
You could be mad later.
Cameron was, but without Cameron and Makai, I can't make that as genuine. You know, they had the heart of Harlem in them for real. Like Makai came to me with the script. Yo, Wood, you got to do this. I already knew Makai, right? That's how I got involved with the movie. And we were in L.A. Yo, you got to check this out. I had to do research on it. So I'm looking at magazines. I'm getting documentaries on these guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. I can do that. I meet with the director. We meet 2 times, then I meet with AZ. Then it's a done deal. But Makai was so, yo, we got to do this. Like, yo, this is Rich Porter. Like, we got to do this. That's how we got to do this. Yo, life is good. He was like, life is good. We got to do this. We got to put this, yo, we got to put this down. This going to have to be put down. Okay, man, this is a real person. I got to do this. He's right. We got to do it. We have to do this. This is not like, there's no option. Because we can make a classic. That movie would have done a lot better if 2 things. I believe that probably Damon, you know, as a producer on that movie, I don't think he had a good relationship with Harvey Weinstein. And I think that relationship soured the movie in a sense where it didn't hit the screens, as many screens, it didn't get as much. Because it could be just a classic for everyone.
I was going to say it should have won something.
Yeah, it could have won things.
Should have won something.
It could have won some things. I think that Damon at that time, and I like Damon. I don't want people to think I don't like throwing anybody on. I will never throw a person under the bus. Damon, at that time, I think if he could do it differently, he would have. Like right now, even himself, he would say, because it's a classic, and it's a classic because of perfect storms happen, a bunch of perfect storms. But his relationship with Harvey dulled its box office.
Sometimes you have to put your personal stuff to the side for the betterment of.
Yeah, you can't. That was old school Dame being old school Dame. But also, it came out on the street. Remember, you could go get that on the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's how I believe Harvey, or whoever leaked it to the streets. Because Paid in Full and the R. Kelly tape was the #1 on the block.
R. Kelly?
Everybody was watching R. Kelly and then putting on the Paid in Full.
Wow. What a night.
Did you see
What a
Dame?
night.
Did you see Dame when he was up here on the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
classic Dame.
That's classic Dame. I don't know, Dame is, I like Dame Dash. You know what I'm saying? I know him a little differently. I think all those guys treat me a little different, whether
Right,
it's
of
Russ
course.
Simmons or Sean Combs or Dame and stuff. They treat me just a little differently, just kind of more like an artist, you know, and just they respect me in a certain way. And so I've not had any conflicts with any of the people,
Right,
you know, but
I'm
you see
sure.
and you know and you hear things and it is what it is, though. People have to go through what they got to go through, man.
What do you think of Trump wanting to bring the feds into your hometown, Chicago?
I don't have no answers for Chicago. It's just difficult for me to agree with Trump on almost anything. He could
agree
almost
with
be
that.
right, and it's like I can't almost agree with you because I don't want you in my life. I don't want you having a say to do with my life.
I think if he wants to spend money on things, he should spend money to fix up some of the neighborhoods and put some more businesses and some more after-school programs instead of spending money on bringing the feds in.
I agree with that. But there needs to be some answers to Chicago.
Yeah.
Trump don't have the answers. I don't think bringing the feds in is going to do anything.
It might make it worse.
Ramping up. It could be worse, you know, but bringing in like like the boys in blue in Chicago, they don't get respect like that. You know what I'm saying? And the black people in Chicago, those communities, black and brown communities, they're not the bow down type. So,
imagine what that would do for your ego as a kid and feel like you're at war with your own country that you live in and they're against you. And that's a terrible feeling.
it is a terrible feeling. Chicago got a lot of homicides though. We got a lot of Chief Keefs and, bad boys. And
But there's a lot of kids that need better role models and more things to do.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
Man, I try to think about the answers to Chicago. I think with like the drug culture that's there now, and I'm not just talking about weed and a little drinking, but really the drugs they really use that take over, like I think the pill pop and the leaning and the stuff they're doing is a lot different than it used to be. And I think you're not dealing with a full deck when you're going to Chicago. People are not, it's not a full deck. Like, it's not a fair either. So when you go to Chicago, you can feel the tension there. It's a rich city. Lots of money is there. But yet it's totally corrupt and it's like riddled in crime. It's
since the mafia days. People always talk about black people, but since the mafia days, 50s, 60s, 70s.
It's always been that way, and it's weird now, though. It's just weird now. Like, I never thought, I'm from Chicago. Like, when I say I was from Chicago, people would think about Michael Jordan or Oprah Winfrey and stuff like that, and maybe some gang shit, but in that
Barack
order.
Obama.
Now it's, word? Really?
You ever go back there?
Oh, man. You made it. Yeah. Word. Yeah. You got a temperature? Let me see. Right? So it's just bad. Like, it's truly bad. You know what I'm saying? But I shout out Chicago. When I'm there, it's like Elvis. You know what I mean? Like, I get a lot of love. It don't matter if it's the crowd. You know what I mean? I dwell in those areas still. I'm from the west side of Chicago, which is, one of the worst areas in Chicago. I go back over there every time I'm there because I want them to just see me be fresh. Just not fresh like I'm not a jewel. I don't bejewel myself and stuff, but
not Mitch and Payton.
Refresh. Yeah. I want them to be refreshed from somebody from the hood who's me. And we own the property I grew up in now. It's nothing though. It's a little row house, but the family that's there now, I go see them. If I go see them, the block will come out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a downtrodden area. And you're right. It does need money to rehabilitate, like, and some education and no one's talking about that though. Like, we need proper education. Like, I think black people need proper education. It's a little different than what we've gotten and what other cultures get. I think ethnically we need ethnic things that we don't give each other or have and haven't thought about even.
Things that we can take pride in.
Things that we can actually use in our life.
Things we can use in our life.
Teach people how to save money, how to deal with their money. You know what I mean?
And also
invest
some real history. So you can maybe have a empowerment.
Right.
And you can have some money, but also some empowerment, like empowerment of character.
Yes.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where is that? People feel empowered on they met a girl, they got a zip, a weed. You know what I mean? They did a verse. Everybody rap now. Everybody wasn't rapping. People didn't know what they wanted to do. Now people who don't know what they want to do just be like, oh, I'm a rap. What? This is boring now. Y'all are boring. The whole rap thing is boring. You know what I'm saying? And ethnically, you
can't say that when you got a song coming out produced by Dr. Dre Wood.
Man. That's funny. That's hilarious. Oh my God. He gonna kill me too. Dr. Dre's gonna kill me. But
like, the artists are like, man, I can't even get in the studio with Dr. Dre. Will Harris over here going through tracks and tracks.
Dr. Dre will check out. I feel like Dr. Dre will check out anybody. I think he's alive for that. I mean,
right.
he'll give the right people a chance. He's and I got to see the show he's doing. It's a dope show. Shout out my boy Eni Clemens working with Dr. Dre over there.
But your second point about Chicago, you said ethnicity.
Oh, I was just saying. Yeah, I was just saying that ethnic groups is two. Let's talk about two. So you got the white and you got the black ethnic groups. I think that our ethnic group encompasses all different cultures. So we have our Southern culture and then we have our sort of mixes that
Caribbean.
all belong to the black ethnic group. Yeah, our Caribbean cultures and our African, but that's the black diaspora as a whole is an ethnic group that you can make presumptions of. You know who we are when you see us, and some you may not, but we kind of know when we see it. So I think that group needs specific information historical information. We can't just all think slave, master. Let's just think about that for one moment. In our lifetime right now, we are presumed to be just from slave. The history is not enriched at all. It's slave, then Martin Luther King still.
Yeah.
Still, like, didn't you think that was going to change? Like, we know now you get more knowledge in your life if you're available to become aware. When you become aware, that's that stuff you talking about.
I feel like it was different for us, though, because they taught us about our history started in Africa. We were kings, we were queens. Then we learned about the slavery thing.
You were taught that.
Yeah. Then they even taught, I studied 5% teachers, too, so they taught me the black man is God. You know what I mean?
Yes. Now, that's important. That's what we
Knowledge
need.
yourself.
That's what we need. And I know people, we labeled it and now got a hip-hop tag on it. 5% and boom, that's over here. But honestly, a lot of that could be made into on a syllabus of information and could be given to young kids to empower them so that they ain't walking around just feeling like, well, there's a slave complex that people have.
Yes.
Because if all you're gonna think is, okay, well, every black person I see is rooted there, and what's that do for white people to think every black person they see is rooted? That's not even true.
Right.
The country was full of so-called black people when they first got here.
Mm-hmm.
So none of the history is accurately told. So we can't be empowered by our story. So when we can be empowered by the story and then go get the knowledge, he's talking about like the 5%, at least go get some of that knowledge. So some of that is very empowering, gives you a core. And there's no core. We like feathers in the wind, just blowing any direction. When it comes to information, ethnic group we have is not unified. It's very difficult for us to stand up against Trump or the police want to shoot us down, and the answers are more police. What? Who thought it would be like that? Like, it's a very surreal. You said what you said earlier about, how strange life can be. Yeah, life is very strange. Mm-hmm. You could be at the red light with your hands up and take
Right.
4 of them with a baby in the back seat because the tag wasn't on the plate. Man, it wasn't. It was like that. Now it's live streamed.
Yeah. We see it. Yeah.
Now your protection is the all-seeing eye in a sense. Because if you can't hold up a device and film, you almost need it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't let that stuff go, man. I'm too much of a warrior for the group, for the ethnic group. Like, I care about the artist second to the warrior of the ethnic group. I feel like we have to be that way. Idris and myself and whoever the actors are that people love, and we have to be warriors in a sense. Now, definitely now, maybe it wasn't that way 5 years ago. Because I think we had a pacified 8 years with Barack. I think,
We were
felt
happy
good.
with that symbolism.
We felt good.
pacifying is no more shouting. I ain't gonna say crying, but no more. Well, we dancing, but we weren't fighting no more. It's either the dance or the fight. So the fight is back. So the warrior artist type is necessary. The information coming in a warrior way is necessary, with no apologies. Just like they don't like to apologize, even when they dead ass wrong. It's like the last thing I'll do is say I didn't do it.
Word up.
It's like, what?
Right.
You can't even apologize. You see so low of us. You could watch us get murked. You don't care about our kids. You can see somebody get choked out over a Lucy, over a cigarette.
And
you
were
guys are
following
not
protocol.
with us. So it's the divided states of America.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the United States. I drank the Kool-Aid at least for 8 years because I remember Public Enemy and them. We was there when Fight the Power. We already had like this energy of feeling we never felt like there was going to be a black president, so we ain't care. And that was actually good in a sense.
Even stuff like FUBU, for us, by us. Just
all that's been made like, now it's just gray. There's nothing is distinguished. And all that we see through the grayness is whatever is made popular. So if it's Kanye, Kim Kardashian did something, Beyonce did something, they love to use those people as distractors. I mean, not they. I hate to make it like it's a conspiratorial thing. It's just however it is, that's what's happening. All right, that we can be distracted ethnically. We like looking at them because they have something. Ethnic group, black group. We like to look at Jay-Z and Beyonce like real kings and queens because we like Beyonce. We love her actually because She makes us look good. Like that's the most beautiful woman in the world. You know, for a long time, beauty is an eye of the beholder. We all know that, but that's where they hold her. You know what I'm saying? And I love it because she don't have a snake tattoo right here. Yeah, she's kind of like a regular person in that sense. You know, and I love that about them. Even though I wouldn't say that they're regular in this. And Jay too. We see Jay. We like, yo, Jay is a real guy. We like that about him. But people, the have and have-nots, a greater divide between it. There's no middle section. So as an ethnic group, even Jay-Z and Beyonce have to be warriors. Even she got to be the Black Panther at the Super Bowl game. That's what I mean, you know, like. And if y'all don't like it, so what? If you don't like it, I don't care. Like, I'm not out here caring about what you like. The Black ethnic group is an army of Alis and Mayweathers, and them not the only ones. Don't pretend like y'all. I'm never been afraid of no ethnic group.
Me neither.
You know, I'm not
tell
afraid
people all the
now.
time, I feel like some of us fear the white man more than we fear God.
Yeah, oh my God, that's true. Why? I ain't never seen y'all go 12 rounds with me, with my type. I don't got no reference to it. Like, and I'm not on the Kool-Aid, the slave Kool-Aid. So I'm off the slave Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? So I get agitated by it a little bit because I'm just a natural fighter in a sense. You know.
You want to start shadow boxing? You want to do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the room alone and start swinging. But yeah, it's that time though. To be honest with you,
right.
You know, and I'm glad that this show is great. You guys are great because you gotta have balance. You guys juggle the subjects well. Y'all able to let my man off the leash sometimes, or he let himself off, and you guys are intelligent. You know, you guys are smart. You guys handle Kodak Black. From him to Eric
Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah, who I
He'll be
love.
on Monday, actually.
Y'all got so much diversity of character, and you guys handle all that stuff seamlessly, you know. So I mean, we need that as an ethnic group. We need that. We need like information. We need people to feel empowered by simple things like just a little bit of information. You don't gotta have $1 million. Go get it. You want to make $1 million? It can be made. Yeah. But you don't have to have that. Right. You just got to pay your bills. Just pay your bills. Get your kids something. Have your kid be all right. You don't got to be Jay-Z and go get $1 billion. Now everybody ain't even talking about $1 million. Like you're nobody unless you get hundreds of millions and $1 billion. It's like, okay, man, well, look at Dolan. Look what the billionaire becomes. Like, look at these guys. Like, I don't want to be like them under no circumstance. I've never met one of those dudes I want to be like them. 100 millionaires, none of that. You know, I don't want to
Jay's
be like
pretty grounded. J-Ho's pretty grounded.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But I like being myself regardless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
the break's Monday.
Yes,
check
we
us out.
appreciate you so much for coming through. I was like, because you know how people just bullshit you. And I was like, yo, you gotta come to the Breakfast Club.
I asked her like twice today.
Really
like, you sure Wood Harris coming?
He really said he was gonna come, and then they really hit me up like, so I'm leaving on Saturday. I was like, all right.
Of course I was gonna come. I was shocked to see you. It was very nice to see you at the
Listen, it's always shocking to me that I was like, I can't believe Wood Harris knows who I am. So that was.
Come on, are you kidding? Yeah. We all know who y'all are. Everybody knows who you guys are.
And even Jamie Hector was there, who played Marlo on The Wire, and he was like, hey, I listen to y'all all the time, and I was like, wow, we really doing something.
What? You guys are killing me right now. Stop it already. Y'all doing something, yeah.
Well, the Breaks premieres Monday, February 20th at 9. So
and you always got to come back and check with us and let us know when the A&E show is
Blade Runner.
starting.
I got Blade Runner coming out.
Blade Runner.
With Ryan Gosling and a bunch of other stuff. I'll come check y'all out, man.
Yeah, open door policy for you, Wood.
Thank you, Charlamagne.
It's the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in